Welcome to part 2 of Let's Play Seas of Blood by Andrew Chapman. At the end of the last part, I was on paragraph 197. Let's reread this as a reminder. Okay, you sail onwards to the rivers of the dead. Roll 3 dice. If the result is less than your crew strength, add 5 days to your log. If the result is equal to or greater than your crew strength, add 6 days to your log. Okay, I did that at the end of the last part, and I was unlucky because I had to add 6 days. So that's done. Okay, dropping anchor by the mouth of the largest river in the group, you disembark with most of your crew and march inland, looking for settlements or caravans to raid. After a few hours, you come to a small range of steep, stony hills, crazed with gullies, narrow valleys, and dry waterways. Will you climb over these hills, 10 to 239, or search through a few of the gullies in case they are hiding anything, 10 to 226? Okay, we are going to climb over these hills and 10 to 239. Here we go. Climbing over the crumbling surface of these devastated hills, you stumble across a cornerstone from a piece of monumental masonry. Getting your crew to dig the earth and rocks away from around this, you find an ancient stone entrance to what may be a buried crypt, temple, or mansion. Pulling away the stones that block the portal reveals a narrow but straight tunnel plunging at a steep angle into the hill. Will you go down this tunnel with a few of your best men? I'll say that again. Will you go down this tunnel with a few of your best men, 10 to 158, or close the entrance up and continue your march over the hills, 10 to 316? Okay, we are going to go down this tunnel with a few of our best men, and 10 to 158. Here we go. Lighting torches, you and your companions ease your way into the tunnel and edge down through the hill. After a few hundred yards, the tunnel ends in another doorway. This one is blocked. Leaning against it to test its strength, you are surprised to have the floor beneath you flip open, dropping you out of sight of your equally surprised companions and into a narrow chute. You tumble down this for a few seconds before dropping into an open space and landing in a subterranean lake. Spluttering to the surface of the water, you look around. 10 to 53. Is there a picture for that? No. I've forgotten where I was going now. I think it was 53. Yeah. Short-term memory, not very good. Okay, one of those things. Okay, you are in a large subterranean cavern lit by the phosphorescence of the rocks around. How does that work? What are they glow in the dark for some reason? I don't know. Radioactive. Dun dun dun. Anyway, you are in a large subterranean cavern lit by the phosphorescence of the rocks around. To one side, a small wooden landing juts out into the water. Swimming to this, you pull yourself from the water and follow the construction to a short corridor which leads from the cavern to a massive stone door. Beside the door is a life-size statue of a gargoyle looking down the corridor at you. Will you try to open the door, turn to 69, or have a close look at the statue, turn to 88? Here it is. There we go. Okay, we are going to have a close look at the statue and turn to 88. Two fat ladies. Right. The gargoyle is set about a foot above the ground on a small circular dais. Looking more closely, you see that the dais has rollers built under it, so the statue has been built to be moved. There are wear marks from the rollers on the left side of the statue, but none on the right. Taking a firm grip of the gargoyle's shoulders, you prepare to push. Which way will you try to move the statue? To the left, turn to 114, or to the right, turn to 165. Okay, we're going to move the statue to the right and turn to 165. Here we go. Okay, the statue rolls easily to the side, causing some ancient mechanism to grind into life, which opens the massive stone door with a hollow boom. You go through it, turn to 179. Okay. Through the door is a long, narrow hall whose walls on either side are regularly punctuated with alcoves. The floor is strewn with a large number of grey ovoid stones, each about 2 feet in diameter. At the far end of the chamber is another massive door. Will you look in one of the alcoves? Turn to 218. Take a closer look at the stones. Turn to 190. or leave everything alone and make your way to the other door. Turn to 248. Okay, we're going to leave everything alone and make our way to the other door. 248. Okay. Now the door is a massive stone affair with an ornately carved block set in its exact centre. Under this block is an inscription in a language which is so archaic that you have difficulty deciphering it. What you think it says, well, it reads, because it doesn't say anything because it doesn't have a voice box. What you think it reads is this. To greet Ut Nafishtim, you must, pull the handle into, out of, the door. Taking the carved block in hand, will you push it into the door, turn to 258, or pull it away from the door, turn to 281. Okay, we're going to pull it away from the door, and turn to 281. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Slowly, the door opens into a large crypt, occupied by a single massive sarcophagus. All around the edge of the lid is an inscription repeated over and over, which reads, there we go, so they got it right this time, which reads, Ut Nafishtim, Keeper of the Waters of Retribution. Will you attempt to open the sarcophagus, turn to 292, or leave it to be? Leave it be. Turn to 358. We are going to open the sarcophagus, of course, and turn to 292. With great difficulty, you manage to slide the lid from its place and onto the floor, where it lands with a resounding crash, which echoes through the crypt and out into the caverns beyond. The sarcophagus is empty, except for a stout-looking helmet and a bag containing, at a quick count, 110 gold pieces. You put the helmet on and sling the bag over your shoulder. Turn to 358. Okay, so 110 gold pieces. Let's add that to our thing. So now we have 215. That's good. A quick bit of arithmetic there. Yes, I've done it right. Good. Okay, so 358. Let's go. Grave robbing, isn't it great? Anyway, above the sarcophagus in the ceiling is a large stone ring surrounded by a circular inscription written in the same archaic language as that on the door into the crypt. It says, pull this key to a better, worse life. Death, or suffer Ut Nafishtim's trial. I mean, that doesn't help at all, really, does it? Standing on the sarcophagus, you take hold of the ring. Will you pull it down, turn to 310, or push it up? Turn to 16. We are going to pull it down and turn to 310. The ring moves with a solid click. In response, a section of one of the crypt's walls falls out, revealing a steeply rising staircase. Running up this, you find yourselves back in the outside world, standing at the foot of the line of hills you left so long ago. You return to the point where you left the Banshee and find that your crew had waited, just in case you were still alive. Turn to 272. Blimey, they're loyal for pirates, aren't they? 272. Hoisting sail, will you head out into the inland sea to patrol for rich merchantmen, turn to 318, or journey south down the coast of the eastern rim, turn to 10? We're going to head out into the inland sea to patrol for rich merchantmen and turn to 318. 318, here we come. The Banshee cuts through the quiet waters of the inland sea. Your lookouts keep a continuous watch on the clear horizon for any sign of shipping. Roll 3 dice. If the result is less than your crew strength, add 4 days to your log. If the result is equal to or greater than your crew strength, add 5 days to your log. If your log is an even number, turn to 363. If your log is an odd number, turn to 294. Okay, so let's roll those 3 dice. My old favourite dice program that I just found after a single Google search. Anyway, random number generator. Anyway, rolling 3 dice, and we get 15. That's great, isn't it? I love that. I love how we've got a big number there, which is nearly the maximum, which is 18. It's just like... this thing is cursed against me, I swear. That's thanks I get for downloading it when no one else would. Anyway, so we've got 15, and our crew strength is 8, so that's not good, is it? So that means we're adding 5 days to our log, and that means our log goes up to 17. Okay, our log is an odd number, so we're turning to 294. Yeah, 294, sorry. The square rig and wide hull of a merchantman appear on the horizon. It is a large vessel, heavily laden and possibly well armed, ploughing its way west from the eastern rim to the city of Kish. Will you attack this ship, turn to 391, or leave it be and continue patrol? You know, actually, I was thinking about leave it be just a second ago. So that doesn't even make any sense. Leave it be, because surely it should be let it be. Because how can you leave something? I mean, if anything, it should be leave it to be. That's probably why I said leave it to be by accident. It should be leave it to be and let it be. It's a similar thing to leave it alone and let it. I mean, you can't really let something alone. You can let something be alone, and you can't really leave something be alone. You have to leave it alone. It's just for some reason there's some sort of weird confusion between the words leave and let. One will take the infinitive and the other one won't. It doesn't make any sense. How should I say this? It doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right saying it. It doesn't sound right saying leave it be. It sounds like it's missing a word. It sounds like it should be leave it to be or let it be. I mean, am I missing something? I don't know why that's a thing. Why is leave it be a phrase? Why can't it be let it be? That makes sense. So from now on, I'm saying let it be. Okay, that's just a thing I'm going to do. It's leave it alone, or no, leave it to be, or let it be. That's that. I am putting my foot down, and I'm saying it's leave it to be or let it be. There's no alternative there. That's what's going to happen from now on. Right, will you attack this ship, turn to 391, or leave it to be and continue patrolling, looking for something a bit smaller, turn to 66. Okay. We are going to attack the ship and turn to 391. Oh, there's something there. Someone called Shade. Oh dear, he's pretty strong. Okay, you give full sail to the Banshee and bring her rapidly alongside the sluggish merchantman. Your crew brandish their scimitars. Yeah, that's actually pronounced scimitar. Yeah, that your crew brandish their scimitars. It's like a curved sword thing. That's sort of like a little bit Arabian, I think, or something like that. Anyway, and crossbows, as you lean across the gunwale, shouting to the other vessel's captain and crew, surrender your cargo and passengers, or you will lose your lives as well as your ship. This brings an unexpected response. A hooded figure, obviously a warlock or magus. I think it's magus. Actually, I don't know now. Actually, okay, I'll be right back. And I'm back. Apparently it is Magus. There we go. Anyway, this brings an unexpected response. A hooded figure, obviously a warlock or Magus, steps aside from the gaggle of frightened passengers and performs a short spell, which summons a hellish shade and sends it like a smoky cloud across the space between the ships to attack you, the captain. Shade, skill 11, stamina 6. If you defeat it, turn to 252. Okay, there we go. Lovely. A shade. Right. He's not wearing any shades, though, so I think he should, because then it would make sense. He's a shade and he's wearing shades. Right, shade. What is it, 11? Oh dear, this is going to be unpleasant, isn't it? Goodness gracious me. Okay, 6. Yeah. Right, okay, let's go. What's my skill again? Oh, 12. Oh, that's good. That was lucky, wasn't it, to get that 12? Okay, so we're fighting the shade. Anyway, roll for him first. 2 dice. 11 plus 5 is 16. I get 18, so 16 to 18. And we're off. Puts him down to 4. Okay, next. 8. No, sorry, not 8. 11 plus 4 is 15. I get 21, so 15 to 21. Yep, that puts him down to 2. And then another one. 11 plus 7 is 18. I get 23. So 18 to 23, and that's the end of Mr. Shade. Didn't want to jinx myself there by saying it was the last one, so, but it was good. Yeah, down to naught. Good. That's the end of Mr. Shade. Let's get rid of that very irritating buzzing. Go away. And let's carry on. 10 to 252. Goodbye, Mr. Shade. It's your fault for not wearing any shades. You should. Right. The crew and passengers of the merchantman, aghast at the warlock for provoking you so, rush and seize him. Trussing his arms with a stout rope, they push him overboard into the sea, leaving him to drown or be taken by the sharks. And they let children read this, you say? Brownie points if you can know from where that is paraphrased. Anyway, the captain climbs into the rigging and shouts, "Forgive us for harbouring such an unworthy fellow. We place ourselves at your bountiful mercy." His crew and passengers vigorously agree. Boarding the merchantman, you seize 120 gold pieces, and in a fit of goodwill, take only 2 of his passengers as slaves. Well, I'm now a saint. I've only taken 2 slaves. Blimey, you know, I think I should be canonised. That is what should happen. I've only taken 2 slaves. This is amazing. I'm such a nice person. Okay, gold 120. That puts me up to 335, and I now have 12 slaves. That's nice, isn't it? So kidnapping and grand larceny. Although larceny isn't on the English law statute books anymore. Anyway, add these items to your booty. Returning to the Banshee, you allow the merchantman to continue its journey. Will you continue to patrol the inland sea by heading towards the shoals of Trista, turn to 66, or change course and travel towards either the west coast, turn to 157, or the eastern rim, turn to 10, for a bit of coastal raiding? Okay. We are going to go to the eastern rim, turn to 10, for a bit of coastal raiding. You sail onwards, passing the bleak red dunes of the eastern rim's Sea of Fire, so named because of the intense colouring of the infertile earth. Roll 3 dice. If the result is less than your crew strength, add 5 days to your log. If the result is equal to or greater than your crew strength, add 6 days to your log. Okay, let's do that. So 3 dice, we're doing this again. Yeah, 3 dice. 7. Oh, it's less this time because it's 8. Yeah, so I only add the minimum. So we're adding 5 days. So that puts me up to 22. So we're still less than halfway of our total 50 days, which is quite good. One evening, with the sun setting over the sea to the west, you notice a phosphorescent wreck in the water to the side of the Banshee. Heaving to, you drop anchor and dive overboard for a closer look. You see a merchant vessel lying in shallow water with 2 large holes smashed in its hull, one in the stern and the other in the bow. I think it's called bow. Which will you? I'm not a nautical person, as you know. Into which will you swim? The hole in the stern, turn to 44, or the bow, turn to 33. We're going to swim into the hole in the stern, and turn to 44. The hole leads into the captain's quarters, where you confront half a dozen sea sprites. These anxious little creatures dart nervously from side to side as you enter the vessel, then rush into the far corner of the room where they whisper together in high-pitched squeaks. Finally, one of them swims forward cautiously and says, We are magical creatures, O brave adventurer from the world above. If you will help us to recover a treasure, we will speak on your behalf to our cousins, the wind sprites, who will surely make your ship the fastest on the seas. Will you help them, turn to 75, or not, turn to 383? We are going to help them, so we're nice after all, despite the fact that we are involved in slavery. Anyway, 75. Okay, a predatory crown which inhabit... Oh, that's like the first boss on R-Type, isn't it? A predatory krell, which inhabits a cave under this vessel, has stolen the skull of salt, explains the sprite. This is our most precious relic, given to us by Father Sea, which, by its magic, keeps the sea and fresh waters of the world separate. We must have it back. The sprites give you a magic potion which enables you to stay underwater without needing to breathe, and then show you to the krell's cave beneath the wreck. The entrance tunnel descends vertically into the seabed. Swimming down, you notice that the walls are heavily pocked with wide, deep holes. Would you continue swimming down into the cave, turn to 105, or stop for a moment to look in one of the holes, turn to 89? We're going to continue to swim down into the cave and turn to 105. To hell with the holes. Anyway, the cave sprouts a large side tunnel which disappears into murky darkness in front of you, while the main cavern continues straight down. Will you change your direction and take the side passage, turn to 136, or continue down, turn to 148? We're going to change direction and take the side passage, so we're going to turn to 136. The side tunnel winds for a long way into the seabed. In one stretch you notice that the walls, ceiling and floor of the passage are covered entirely with the skulls and other bones of a variety of creatures. Long snouted skulls, thigh bones as big as your whole leg, and other more human remains are easily identifiable. One skull, which looks like a unicorn, stands out especially white and clean. Will you remove this from its place in the wall, turn to 201, or leave the skulls alone and continue along the tunnel, turn to 168? We're going to leave the skulls alone and continue along the tunnel, turn to 168. The tunnel ends quite suddenly in a large rocky chamber. Sitting on the irregular floor, its insanely complicated limbs folded about a spiked shell, is the krell. Its stalked eyes consider you, while it toys with a boulder in its claws. Food, it says. Food, yes, food. With a kick of its legs, its attack. Why can't I say that? With a kick of its legs, it attacks. There we go. Krell, skill 8, stamina 12. Well, we know how to defeat the Krell in R-Type, the first boss. You just have to shoot your droid into it and keep shooting until it's dead, and it should be dead before it reaches you, and then you get on to level 2. So we don't need to fight this. We've already fought the Krell in R-Type. Let's move on. Okay, so skill 8, stamina 12, and here is a picture of the Krell. There we go. Skill 8, stamina 12. Let's go. I should do the R-Type boss music, didn't I? Anyway, I do like that game a lot. I've completed it on Master System, obviously, Game Boy, C64, Spectrum. What else have I done? Don't think I've done the Atari ST version yet, but I'm working on it, don't you worry. Anyway, let's fight the Krell. So we have skill 12. So 8 plus 9 is 17. I get 15. So 17 to 15. I lost that because I was making fun of it with R-Type. So that puts me down to 20 stamina. Next, what does Mr. Krell have in store for us now? So 8 plus 7 is 15. I get 19. So 15 to 19. Puts him down to 10. 8 plus 4 is 12. I get 23. So 12 to 23. Puts me down to 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. I get 18. 14 to 18. Puts them down to 6. 8 plus 7 is 15. I get 17. 15 to 17. Puts them down to 4. Okay, next. 8 plus 9 is 17. I get 19. So 17 to 19. Puts them down to 2. Could this be it? 8 plus 9 is 17. I get 19. So 17 to 19 again. Okay, good. Isn't it? Identical dice rolls. Okay, naught. Goodbye, Mr. Krell. We're off to the second level, where we fight that heart with a snake that goes into it, which is really annoying. Okay, I'll stop making R-type references now. Okay, let's get rid of the annoying buzzing, because I'm annoyed already, and let's carry on. Okay, turn to 374. Okay, okay. Having killed the Krell, you search its cave until you find for what you were looking. The Skull of Salt. Returning to the sea sprites with their prize, you are rewarded with a blessing to make your journey a rapid one. Whenever you are instructed by the book to roll 3 dice against your crew strength, you need only roll 2 dice. That's good. You surface, climb back on board the Banshee and set sail. Which way will you go? South towards Marad, 10 to 191, or southwest out into the inland sea towards the shoals of Trista, 10 to 66. Okay, so I'll just say we have sea sprites. I'll just make a new line. Wind sprites help us. I'll put sprites. A sprite. It's almost sort of Irish. Have you got a sprite there? I'm thirsty for a sprite. Sorry, my Irish accent is terrible. My apologies. Okay, wind sprites. That shouldn't be capitalised. Wind sprites help us, and that means in parentheses, roll only 2 dice when testing crew strength. Okay, so that's that. Make a new line, and that's that. Okay, I'm going to end the video there. So we are on, what paragraph are we on? 374. So 374, and we will decide whether to go to the inland sea towards the shoals of Trista or towards Marad next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.